7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Creed stan, Jake Bakoven.
I love that band, Creed.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
We are live here on the block on a Friday, so happy Friday to everybody, and hope you enjoy your weekend. Just probably a few more hours left till you get there, or if you are at the weekend point of your day, go ahead and crack one open for us and give us a listen. We'll enjoy that. Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet, with me as usual. Strick, you excited for the weekend? You got any big weekend plans?
No big plans, but it is trying to rain out here, so it's trying to put a damper on my wonderful backyard. Yeah. So I think I'm really gonna hone down this weekend and hit the inside of the crib really hard.
There you go.
For those that may not know, crib is house or home in other language. That's a slang term.
That's a slang term. Yeah. You're not actually going to build a crib and sit in there.
No, not building a crib. Don't have any little one. I don't think Bach. I think about that all the time. I told my boy in class, I said, listen, you're better than me. I mean, he's got a beautiful family, beautiful wife, wonderful little Kai Johnson. Will probably be one of the rocks of the Johnson family. He'd probably be the first one to play on the defensive side.
He's pretty young, isn't he? Like a 5 years old?
Yeah, but he's a rock. He's very athletic. I can just see him being a linebacker or something like that, man. But listen, I don't know. I'm speculating. But when I think about it, I mean, both me and Kless, we're about to approach 50, and I'm like, could I go back and pull a Diana Ross or something like that, and at this age, and because think about it, man. I mean, we'll be 70 when he's about to break off to college.
Yeah. So you think you're done having kids, but you're having second?
No, I think Stricky is out of there, man. I don't think I'm in the game for that, man. God willing. Let me say.
Yeah. Well, whoever knows, things can still happen, and if they do, I'm sure you'll be happy for it. But in any case, that sounds like a good plan for the weekend. I think I might do similar things, although I'll be pretty excited for the NBA action as my Celtics are back on top and getting into it. We'll get with hitting the hardwood, but real quickly, how about these games? They're all been blowouts. Do you think that kind of hurts the product? Do you think that's because of the 3-point line and how important that is, or what's kind of leading to all these blowouts in the NBA Eastern and Western Conference Finals so far?
No, I just think I think it's a game. Okay, normally when you come off, when you have great shooters, you have great teams that move the ball. Then you have teams that have depth. So there's a lot of components in these specific series that no matter what the series happened in the season, none of that means anything. If you've had a chance to study, break down the previous series and not be rushed in it, right? So if you're coming off of a long series, the other team, if they've 1-6, or they had an extra day because they did it before you. That's a kind of a what's the word, Bach? It's kind of a advantage, sort of. You know what I'm saying? It's an advantage to be able to have that because you've got more time for prep. You've got more time to lay the game plan. You've got more time to disseminate the game plan to the players and to really hone in on those things. Whereas if you're coming right off it, there's not much turnaround time. You've got flight time. That's why I'm telling you the bubble People don't look at all of these components that are just they may seem small in nature, but they're really important things, because now you've got flight time plus prep time, some of which is you only got enough time. Really, you don't really have time to put a full practice in. You're trying to rest.
Yeah.
You're trying to get, if you got injuries, you're trying to get all that taken care of. So you don't really have a lot of practice time. Then you got to fly. You may have a shoot around. They may give it to you in a game plan booklet, or now they do it on these little pads, but you just only get to study it. So I think it makes a difference, man, as to when guys have been rested, they've got good legs. Now them jumpers is stroking a little bit better. Or if you've taken a loss, then you come back the next night like, yo, okay, okay, yeah, they did something, but now those adjustments can begin to take place. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. It's interesting, like you mentioned with the bubble too. No home court advantage, so that was a weird scenario. But and then again, I think it's just some of the nature of these teams. Obviously, the Warriors got blown out by the Grizzlies, so it can happen to everybody that's left in the playoffs, because everybody's kind of had it done to it. But that's the NBA these days. As much as I love the athleticism, and just overall, I think it's fun to watch, especially the competitive games and all the personalities that are involved. One team's hitting threes and one team's not. It's just a huge, usually a huge blowout. Yeah, there's not much more to figure out with it.
It's a lot different, Bach, to shoot when you're up than it is when you're down.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can see, like, it's not just one guy. Like the Celtics did this in the second quarter or I think it was the first quarter, where it's just like all 7 of them just were draining threes left and right, no matter what they took. And you see that it's contagious. What is that? I mean, how does that happen from one team to the next, where the team gets in such a flow that you're confident? You would think there would be more pressure on you to hit the next one, but it seems to take the pressure off.
Yeah, it does. Because, well, in some instances, you step up freely. You're in a little nice rhythm. The ball is moving differently when you've got guys hitting like that. I think that's where you saw it in the Boston series. That ball was moving. It was moving the way that I was trying to describe to our listeners during the season when we were doing Nebraska Husker games. That's the type of movement. I mean, you could tell, Bach, guys had the opportunities for open shot. Some of them were open, but it would be a slight shot fake. They could have took the shot because the shot was open.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. I tell you, and I tell our listeners all the time, and we thank you always for tuning into the block just to listen. Sometimes you'll get some nuggets. But I tell young players all the time, I'm like, it's not necessarily the distance of the person. It's not necessarily that you're open. It's reading the next person's attempt at you or what they're trying to do next, right? If they look like they're about to put a lot of energy, like you can see the intensity on their face about trying to get to you, even though you can take the shot, it's going to be a challenged one. So there's a little shot fake that will get the guy either to go by you where you get into the paint, you can get into mid-range, and then your next read comes. What does the big man do? Who's coming to me? Where are they coming from? Where's the road? See, it's not so simple. People think it's just simple plays. It's multiple things that play in your head as a professional. And so the next thing is, where's the guy? It ain't even who the next guy is that's coming to you. It's not even that. It's where's the next rotation? Where is that coming from? And I'll give you a good example of that is when Marcus Smart drove deep early in the first half. He drove deep into the paint. He gets off of his feet not to shoot. He was looking at the corner.
Oh, yeah.
2 guys on the rotation kind of start floating towards the corner. He looks and he whips a dime on the money. That's the difference, too. I tell you about putting the ball on the money. He whips a dime on the money to Jaylen Brown for a butt-naked 3, and he hits it. And then that's how it gets contagious, because then you saw another instance where Jason Tatum was going nuts, and then the next thing you know, he shot fakes. He gets the next guy comes, he whips the ball over for another butt naked. I mean, that's the game that's going on the floor out there at any time. It's multiple games being played in the mind.
It's more than just bouncing the ball, obviously, out there
Facts.
and read and react. There's a lot going on, and especially at this point in the playoffs. And again, we'll see kind of what that's kind of the modern offense, and then you've kind of got Dallas that's kind of does it a bit differently. And if you don't have your ball players rolling that day, you can catch yourself on a blowout yourself. And so we'll kind of see if Doncic will be able to recover tonight.
ISO ball can get you blown out.
Yeah.
And when other guys aren't making shots, it gets to ISO ball. I mean, you could just go look at the Houstons, you can go look at the Brooklyns, you can go anybody that specializes in ISO. It's nothing wrong with it. It is a style of play. You know what I mean? There's multiple styles. There's that running style of play, D'Antoni. I'm just trying to outscore you. There's all types of styles out there, right? Then there's that read and react style at San Antonio, that Popovich. There's all types of styles. But at the end of the day, the styles that with depth, the Miamis, the Bostons, that's where there's probably a lot of the Golden State Warriors. Those styles are tough because you have to defend multiple times in multiple rotations. Like your rotations got to be on point. There can't be the communication and the rotations have got to be like systematic. That ball goes there, I'm going there. If it goes there, I'm going there. He's going there. But I mean, that's where success comes. If that's the only way you can have success. If two people even think to go to one, you're dead in a good team like that.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating to see how it happens too, because that's kind of the strategy we saw in the first game too, is to kind of collapse on Luka and make the other guys, make him react, maybe get some passes out there. So we'll kind of see how it goes tonight. Coming up here in a little bit, we'll get to our top 10 offseason moves in college football, kind of in reaction to Jordan Addison officially announcing that he's going to USC. But real quick, I did want to mention this while we're on basketball. Nebraska did add a walk-on the other day. Last night, it was announced that Nebraska adds Jeff Grace from Arizona State. Nebraska's been down at that. It's down in Tempe a few times to get some guys in some different sports. Of course, Jeff Grace, again, former Sun Devil, a 6'3", 195-pound guard. He walked on at Arizona State last year. He's going to walk on at Nebraska now. Didn't appear in a game last season for the Sun Devils, but he did play in the same AAU basketball program as current walk-on Sam Hoiberg in Illinois. So probably not expecting a whole lot from Jeff Grace, but maybe some chemistry there along the walk-on unit. What is it? I mean, how much of an uphill battle is it? We know you were the greatest walk-on in Nebraska program history, but you were kind of a different circumstance, would have been a scholarship player. When you were playing, or maybe even, looking past that, I always think it's quite an uphill battle for a walk-on to get that spot, just because there's less invested in him. Obviously, he would be a scholarship player, so he's already got, other things to overcome. Maybe he's a late bloomer. We can see walk-ons get on the court from time to time. But how much of an uphill battle do you see that as for one of these guys to kind of get into the rotation?
It really isn't. It's not as big as an uphill battle as you think. Yes, you want to give deference to your scholarship players, obviously, right? Yeah. But a coach, it's probably going to be a different situation with Hoiberg and his situation right now. But any coach that sees a player's progression, so initially a walk-on is going to get their eye of the coach, and it's going to be situational. It's going to be during preparations for games. And if that kid is killing the second team, first team, whoever team that they're prepping for, if they're saying he's going to be Keegan Murray and he goes out and murders you like Keegan Murray, yes, coach is going to be mad. Oh, he's going to take a note. He's going to take a note. It may not be that year, but he's going to take a note. Then he's going to watch you in the weight room. Then he's going to start watching you in your work ethic. Then he's going to start seeing, how you're staying in the gym. Are you staying later than some of the scholarship players? Are you making different efforts that they're not making? What is your grades like? Then he's going to start saying, okay, I really like this. And then he'll watch you the next season. if he sees that similar progression or even more, he's going to even watch you in the offseason workouts when they're playing ball. He's going to watch how you're playing against those guys. I promise you the coach is going to pop in as long as it's legal. He's going to pop in. He's going to be watching, or if he's got film, like some of the practice facilities have cameras all over that they can just kind of tap in and watch. He's going to be watching. And then if you come back the same year and you're killing, he'll probably throw you on the second team every now and then in a rotation. And then all of a sudden you're doing work on some of those back and forth type drills preseason. You're killing, you know what I mean? Then the next year after that, you'll probably start to see he'll make a move to maybe start, giving you a little taste, giving you a little tidbit of what it tastes like to get out there and see how you perform. So it'll happen in like an exhibition game. It'll happen in like, a game against like Sam Houston, where last year that could have been a problem for us. But
right, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But it'll happen in situations like that. Like he'll throw you out there. He'll put you in earlier to see how you respond in some of those games. And then it can go from there. So it can happen. It can happen.
Well, and I just think it's kind of interesting that you've got the interest of at least 2 Power 5 head coaches now as a walk-on, and for whatever that means. But I'm sure they're looking for what you can kind of bring to the table. There's a lot of open spots for Nebraska, a lot of battles that are going to be happening to get those open spots next season. So maybe we'll see something out of Jeff Grace.
But the hard part of that, Bach, is the size.
Yeah, that
makes it different, right? You've got to be an anomaly. Like for example, like me, to break through earlier than later, because there's a lot of 6'3" guys, right? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of those. I mean, you're going to have a lot of 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3" guys, and they're going to be able to play. But see, like I was an anomaly. So, for example, me, Teron Lou, Jerron Boone, I played the 3. Jerron's 6'6". That would be a normal thing to where Jerron would play the 3 and I would play the 2.
Yeah.
But I could guard 6'8" guys. I could guard 6'9" guys. I could guard 6'4". So that made me more valuable in an instance. And that's what in just like in the NBA, the more value you can create. So if he can show he can rebound 5-6 a game, if he can show he can guard beyond his measure, if he shows he does things that are unique in that position, from the wing can get you 4 assists. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then you can change the dynamic of the way a coach is viewing you. But if you're just doing the same thing, he's going to defer to his scholarships guys.
Well, that's interesting because they were talking on the broadcast too last night. That's kind of what Marcus Smart brings to the table, right? They've had Walkers, they've had the Kyrie Irvings, they've gone through Isaiah Thomas's, all while Marcus Smart has been there. But those guys can only guard ones, and now put Marcus Smart in there, you can switch on anything with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They can all guard the 1 through 4 basically, as long as
he guarded Giannis.
Right? Yeah, they threw him at Giannis a lot. Yeah. And then throw in Grant Williams, who can do the same thing. That's why defensively they're just so versatile, which makes him one of the most difficult teams in the NBA to game plan for. Also, I always kind of think too, as opposed to walk on into college, obviously in the pros, you kind of have those lower spot type of guys. I always remember the story of Teron Lue basically getting his NBA Finals minutes because he was scout team Allen Iverson. And he was scout team Allen Iverson well that Phil Jackson was like, "Oh, we got to get this guy out there."
Now you feel me? That's exactly that's what I'm talking about. That's what. So just move that down to college. That's what I'm talking about. They're going to ask you to be certain guys that are in the Big Ten that are going to be a guy that you're going to have to face. If you show that you're that guy and more, it's going to piss the coach off because he's going to be mad at the team. Like, you mother. He's a walk, initially that's what's going to be how it's going to go. I didn't say it the way a coach probably would say it if he's on the court at the time. But yeah, you can understand that point. But he's going to put an eye on him. He's going to say, wait, now there might be something there. I might have found a gem.
Yeah. Also, one more note I wanted to get to in college basketball. Trace Jackson Davis removes his name from the draft. Of course, the star at Indiana. This likely makes Indiana the Big Ten favorite. They've got 2 top 25 5-star recruits coming in Malik Reneau and Jalen Hood Shafino. And if I've said those names wrong, we'll learn them when Big Ten play comes around. But in any case, 2 5-star recruits, Trace Jackson Davis, one of the best names returning. Of course, the Big Ten was littered with great players last year. So I think he was second team All Big Ten, but they had 3 first-team All-Americans. So take that for what it's worth. I think that's going to put them in that category. ESPN's way too early poll had him at 15. I think that was kind of assuming that Trace Jackson Davis would come back. And I'm just glad he is. He doesn't have he's hopefully, and we'll see if he can work on his game to stretch his shooting a little bit, because I think that's what's going to hold him back at the next level. But looking to be like a mid-second round pick, maybe late second round pick if he is picked, I'm glad to see him come back, because he's one of those fringe guys that college basketball, and maybe this is due to NIL, that college basketball loses, where it's like, yeah, for him, it might be the best decision to move on because you're not getting any younger and all that stuff. But college basketball sorely needs these Trace Jackson Davis types to come back. And I'm just glad to see he does come back for Indiana. Michigan expected to be the biggest competitors for Indiana next season. But for what it's worth, those are like, like I said, 15 top 20 type of deals. You don't have the overwhelming favorite. You don't have a power in the Big Ten next year. It's going to be a wide open conference in my mind, even if Indiana is the favorite.
Well, you said the word, right? Yes, he's very consistent across the board on his numbers. 18 points in his career. Early on in his career, 13.5. He's 3-time All Big Ten. He's a Big Ten All Defense. He's got accolades that you would normally say that would lead you to be drafted. He's a Big Ten All Freshman team. So he's got those things. He's very consistent across the board, but the areas that are a problem: free throw shooting. He's a career 67% free throw shooter, and he's only taken 1 3-pointer in his whole career, and that was 1 last year, for where he's 0 for 1. So 6'9", 245. He does have defensive prowess, so he could turn into a Draymond Green-ish type on that and be effective there. But if he really wants to get drafted and make himself a problem, he's got to work on shooting that ball. He's got to be able to stretch that. I would love to see, here's how I would view him if he could shoot it. I would think of him to be like Rodney Rogers, if you remember Rodney Rogers back in the day. Rodney played with me at the Celtics. He was like just really strong, athletic, big body, get boards. But if he can increase that free throw number, I think he's got to get that in the mid-70s to make himself interesting. I think he needs to be a walking double-double, especially in college. I know he's close, but I think he needs to, if he wants to show improve, he needs to continue to average where he's about and move that rebound numbers up to about 10 and maybe a couple of more assists. I think he was a little turnover prone. I think there's some just those areas in his jumper that's a little weak, but if he can fix those things, he can put himself into maybe a late round, first round pick, but I think he'll probably end up being second.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of his game reminds me of Jimmy Butler, but the part that does, and I was reminded again of this last night, is that if he misses a layup, he's getting the rebound and he's putting it back up. I mean, he's just his tenacity and his strength to go up doesn't seem to lose anything if he's near the rim and misses it. He's going to be one of the top guys to get that rebound. So,
well, coming back though, they've got some good stuff. Top 5 recruiting class. Mike Woodson, did his work up there. Malik Reneau, Caleb Banks, and then a couple of guards, Jalen Hood, Fino, and CJ Gunn. So
they Xavier Johnson's coming back.
Oh,
He's called last year. Yeah.
So they got some guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody off the text line asked, did I miss what Trey McGowan's decided, or has he announced yet? Trey has not announced, but it looks like if you read read what's going on there, Nebraska added SMU guard Emmanuel Bandamel, who's kind of got that same defensive prowess type and can score, averages like 10. He looks to be the replacement for Trey McGowan's. And as far as scholarship numbers, they're over if Trey McGowan's or Latmarian were to return. So no announcement has been made, but it looks like the writing is somewhat on the wall for those guys. Though, again, if there's a change in mind, I'm sure Fred would welcome Trey McGowan's back. So there's nothing official. It just looks like he's all but out of the program. And so we'll take a quick break from here on the block. We do have a call, so that's what I was thinking of. Maybe sitting around and take this call. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take this call as we get it on the boards here. Looks like it is Sterling. Sterling on the Honda Lincoln Hotline. Sterling, how are you doing today?
Doing good, guys. Hey, Strick, I got a quick question for you. I know you guys are talking NBA, but I got to change gears a little bit. Hey, I wanted to know, I went to college with Parker Fredrickson's dad, and so I've been following the kid a long time. If you got to see him play this last weekend, what was your assessment?
I like him. I like him. I think he's got a pretty stroke, great quick release. He's athletic. The thing I really like about Parker is that he plays the right way. He wants to make the right play at all times, whether it's the next pass, the dribble drive, feed. He works consistently, solid handle. And that's what I really like about him. He does a lot of different things well. And I like the aspect of his abilities to just make the right plays when it's called for. He's not overzealous. He's not over egoistic. You know what I mean? He just wants to play solid basketball. And that's the type of character you need, especially if you want to pull him to Nebraska. You need that kind of guy.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff. Thanks for the call there, Sterling. We'll take a quick break here on the block. When we come back, we will go through our top 10 moves in college football this offseason. Again, partially because of Jordan Addison's move. I kind of wanted to rank them because there's a lot of stuff going on in college football. So just kind of a reminder of that stuff and what I think the top 10 moves are. So we'll do that next year on the on the block on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll do it next.
Hey, it's Nelson. We all know life gets a little hectic. You're just looking for that right amount of balance for stress relief with your busy lifestyle while trying to not break the bank. That's why you got to stop by the newest Caterpillar Vapes location right here in Lincoln, 2601 North 11th Street. The Caterpillar team is made up of people just like you, wanting the best product at the best price. They can walk you through the largest selection in town, answer any questions, and find you that perfect balance. First-time customers get 50% off their entire purchase. Stop in and see for yourself. For more, find them on Facebook or online at CaterpillarVapes.com.
Aloe means business. Aloe means local business. Aloe means big business. Aloe means small business. No matter your business, if you need reliable phone and internet connectivity, you need Aloe. Local service and same-day dispatch. Free installation. Symmetrical upload and download speeds. If your business relies on communication, rely on Aloe. Aloe means business. Visit aloefiber.com/business.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
2022 is all about staying well. And guess what? There are lots of easy ways to take care of your mental and physical health every day, like eating right and exercising, taking vitamins, drinking water, scheduling those annual doctor's visits, or just resting. That's right, even a quick nap counts. Because let's be honest, these days we could all use a little more wellness in our lives. So stay well, Nebraska. For more ways you can stay healthy, visit staywellnebraska.com.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, batter, 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 wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com, Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block here. We are with you on a Friday as we get ready for the weekend. Strick is back with me. Is back in his home with it, getting ready to at his crib, as we've called it earlier. And I'm back in studio, and we also have Tom Stevens jumping in here. If I don't know if we'll get the camera on you on this segment, but probably the next segment we'll get the camera on you.
Oh man, you're missing out. No camera on me.
Yeah.
Best looking guy in radio. I mean,
not the old Mac Daddy.
Go ahead there, Strick. I didn't have your mic on.
I said not the old Mac Daddy, Tom Stevens.
Oh yeah, old Mac Daddy.
He's back. And how's Sunday Rewind been going so far? And
It's
you
good.
just had 2 episodes, right?
It's good. Mike Melby and myself basically rewinding all the stories of the week. Anxious to get back on this weekend. Talk a little NBA playoffs as you guys do with Strick every day. The PGA will be wrapping up. PGA Championship will be wrapping up right about the time we hit the airwaves. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Some Husker baseball and softball. So a lot of stuff on the docket this week.
Have you worked on your own golf game? Have you given us updates on that yet?
I just got off the golf course. Shot an 84.
That's not bad.
Not
what you want.
Wait. Pause. 84 from the Reds. That's what it was. Let's be real.
From the whites. I don't.
Okay. Solid. Okay.
The blacks are the tips. I usually where I play, it's really not that big of a difference. It's usually maybe 5 to 10 yards. Anyway, I'm okay. 6-7 handicap somewhere in there.
Oh, so what's your best round? You think?
My best round ever, 72.
Okay.
70.
Yeah,
that's my best round.
Yeah, that's not bad. How about you, Strick?
I think 70, 79, 78.
Yeah.
That was the best I could do. Listen, here's what it is for Stricky. I can be hitting every fairway. I'm on the green. I miss a couple birdies, like not them ones that are long, a couple 5-footers, and I'm mad as heck. But it'll be the one where I may land short of the green, and then I'll score one, and it'll go over, and then I end up with like a 7, a triple bogey or something, and then it blows my freaking round up. That's
very common. Short game is like 60% of your strokes are, they say, within 50 yards of the green.
Yep. And it happens, and it makes me so boy. If I wasn't a baseball player and am familiar with baseball, and that you have to be okay with failing. Yeah. If that wasn't the case, Stevens, I would freaking blow up. I would probably break clubs.
Yeah.
But I say but you can't do that. You've got to be ready for the next shot. Otherwise, you can end up with a big number.
How often do you play, Strick?
Because that's the problem.
You don't play a lot.
It's going to be more when I get back to Nebraska.
We need to get Strick in the Ticket Golf League.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing more.
But baseball players historically are the best golfers that I've found, at least. And like Darren Erstad, great golfer.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a fantastic athlete. He was a good hockey player in high school, obviously a pretty good football player. You played 3 sports. What was your favorite sport, though, of the 3? Basketball, football, baseball?
Football
was your favorite?
Yeah, that was my best sport. That was the best sport. It was my favorite sport. I was probably the best at it of all the sports. And then the crazy thing is people are like, they think I'm weird because even though I could switch hit, I really dominated the left side, but I threw right-handed. And so I play golf right-handed. So I'm like weird. They're like, don't you play left? No, I shoot left. I play golf right. I kick right. I throw right. I right left. I'm weird. I'm just like.
So you were a better football player than a basketball player.
Yeah, I would say.
Wow.
Basketball probably was my worst sport.
Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, that is crazy.
Why'd you stick with basketball?
Because it was probably where my passion was, and I looked at collective bargaining agreements, and I thought it was one of the best ones out there. And to be honest, look, I was in the minor leagues, and I was looking at it, even though they were progressing me, I was looking at it like, how long do I want to stay down here? And again, I'm going to mention this again on the block. Again, it comes down to this. I'm not just like going to act like I'm the smartest dude on earth. No. My coach says to me, he's like, Strick, it's about that time to make a decision. We want you to, play full time. We're going to send you to winter ball, but you got to make a decision. You got to pick one. I probably think you'll be a hell of an MLB player, but you probably could be an NBA player as well, just because you're that good of an athlete. But here's what I'll say. If you decide to go play basketball, go check it out. The doors is open. We'll welcome you back if it doesn't work out. Good answer. I mean, what could I lose? I didn't have nothing to lose. So I said, let me go see what this basketball thing do, and it worked out.
How many years in the NBA?
9.
9 years in the NBA. And there was always that story that I had heard about you that you had to give up your basketball scholarship because you were playing baseball. Is that true?
I couldn't take a scholarship. So, yeah. So the way the Marlins structured my deal was that, the Yankees wanted to take me in the first round. The Yankees wanted to, but they told me, and my baseball coach, Dave Schillinglaw, all y'all Nebraska folks, y'all probably know Dave Schillinglaw, some of y'all Bellevue guy. But Dave Schillinglaw was kind of talking to them and so forth, and they basically said, we want him to play full-time. No, he can't play basketball. Okay. So then the Marlins said, hey, we'll draft him in the middle rounds. We'll give him a bonus. We'll pay for his school, and he can do both. Good answer. That's how I ended up with the Marlins, because they were going to allow me to do both.
Why didn't you play Husker baseball?
Couldn't. Because once I was a professional, no more amateur status there. So that's why I could play in another sport, but I couldn't play on scholarship because I was actually a professional.
What year was it? Your sophomore year that you played baseball?
Out of high school. So the first year out of high school, coming into college, and then after my freshman year. But it wore me out, man. Mentally, I was so drained. It's consistent. It's all the time. It was nonstop, because by the time baseball I was over, I was in school studying. Then basketball hits, and then as soon as school's over, I'm back at extended spring. So it was too much.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I got how long do you think you can stick around?
Oh, I can stick around as long as tell 10.
Okay,
11 o'clock tonight.
Right.
No,
I guess we're working late.
as long as you need me.
All right. Well, let's do something special here. Well, I do have a shootout with Strick ready. Why don't we have you, Tom, take on Strick? The deal is 2009.
All right.
That is the topic, I should say.
All right.
So what we're gonna have from you, the listeners, the first 2 callers, you can call in, and then you get if Strick wins and you're caller number 1, then you get the prize. If you're caller number 2 and Tom wins, then you get the prize. So that's what we'll do. Give us a call, 402-464-5685 right now, and let us know. Do you want to be on Team Tom or Team Strick? 2 callers will get the chance today. We'll hand out $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings based on the winner, obviously. That's coming up next year on The Block on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street, Park, and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg. Wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies, much cooler today with a high of around 71. North-northwest winds at around 15 to 20. Cloudy tonight with a low of 47. Even cooler tomorrow. A high of only 55. Maybe a few scattered showers around the region. We'll see temps bounce back a bit by Sunday. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend
Starter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. StarterHeyman.com.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hi, this is Dave Osted from Osted's Golf. Let us make this your best season yet. Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in Osted's Value Guide, or have our club specialists get your clubs swinging like new. Go to our website and make your fitting appointment. You're a click away from a better golf game. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It is time to play Shootout with Strick, our favorite game show here on the block. We have Tom Stevens joining us from the Sunday Rewind, so he's going to help us play today. It's going to be Strick via Tom. So we'll see who knows the year 2009 a little bit better. Strick, we have been asking. Now it's kind of getting away from. Were you still playing in 2009? No, not playing by then.
Negative, nothing. I don't even know if I was actually working with the Mavericks. That was the last year I was working with them as manager of business relations. So yeah.
Well, that's still pretty cool, though. Yeah. So, maybe we could still we'll keep asking as we move along to see where your career takes you. No, we'll stop asking.
No, you can't.
That's still an interesting job to me. You know, that sounds.
It was cool. I got to watch. See, we meant to talk about that in 2006. I got to watch. Mark Cuban flew the whole staff down to Miami for the Miami against Dallas series.
Oh yeah,
in that when they fell apart and they let Dwayne Wade, and I'm sitting up there like seething mad, like how are they letting this do this to them? Like I'm like half of me like wanted to go in the locker room and just put something on so I could throw an elbow in his chest or something. Just something, you know what I mean? It was just like they were just letting him do whatever he wanted to do. It was like crazy, but that was I got to watch that from the stands.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So maybe we'll keep asking what you're doing every year because we're doing our year in reviews to kind of get Nate caught up on his Husker history. Let's go ahead and play Shootout with Strick though. Tom, you'll get the hang of this here in a second.
Right. Tom first, doggone it! I'm the champ. The champ is here.
I've never played before. You got to go first.
Tom's never played, so you're gonna kind of show him. I built the show today, so there's no favoritism here. We'll see if you can get it. All right, we'll start. Are you ready, Strick?
Come on.
All right, we'll start in 3, 2, and 1. North Carolina won their 5th title in 2009. Who did they beat to win that title? Villanova or Michigan State?
Michigan State.
That's correct. LSU coach Brian Kelly won the Coach of the Year in 2009. Where was he coaching at the time? Cincinnati or Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
It's actually Cincinnati. Who had more Heisman votes in 2009? Ndamukong Suh or Tim Tebow?
Tim Tebow.
It's actually Ndamukong Suh. In September of 2009, the Lions had the second longest losing streak of all time. How many did they lose in a row? 19 or 24?
19.
That is correct. And who sang the 2009 hit song Boom Boom Pow?
3, 2, 1.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
What was it? What did he say?
He said Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's a good to throw it out there, but it's the Black Eyed Peas. But ultimately, 2 points for you. Yeah, not too bad.
Not terrible.
2 points gets you
Boo.
going.
Shit. Your name should be Simple. Shut up, Simple. You little sarcastic. He was over there. Stevens over there shanking me with them little snap shank. 2 points. Oh, that was good. Yeah,
he's impressed.
I was impressed.
Solid. All right, so you got to beat 2. There's a tiebreaker if we do get there. The money ball is worth 2 in itself, so keep that in mind.
As long as Nate didn't give the questions, maybe I got a chance.
That's right.
All right. We'll go in. This is Tom's turn now. We'll go in 3, 2, and 1. The Lakers defeated the Magic in the 2009 to win the NBA title. How many games did the Magic win in that series? 0 or 1?
1.
That is correct. In 2009, Stanford running back took home the Doak Walker Award. Who was the running back? Toby Gerhardt or Christian McCaffrey?
Christian McCaffrey.
That was Gerhardt in 2009. How many total tackles did Ndamukong Suh finish with in 2009? 85 or 76?
76.
That was actually 85. The Yankees won the World Series in 2009. Who was their World Series MVP? Hideki Matsui or Alex Rodriguez?
Alex Rodriguez.
It was actually Hideki Matsui. For the win. Who sang the 2009 hit song Poker Face?
The Gaga.
Yes, that's correct.
No! Boo! It's Lady Gaga. That don't work. Did I say the whole thing? Look at you guys.
That's a little bit picky.
Boy, that is tough. I think we might. There are some listeners out there waiting for it.
I was terrible.
Well, do we count Gaga?
You did that to me one time.
Everybody calls her Gaga, right? What is, Rico wants to be the
Rico's
judge.
got to be the tiebreaker.
All right, I need everybody to stay quiet for this because it's going to be very dramatic. Okay.
Okay.
Strick. You know, we went to Bellevue West together. Not together, but we both went to Bellevue West because, I'm not old. But I got to go with Tom on this one. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's the tiebreaker. Goes to Tom.
Woohoo! Oh, my gosh. Oh, it is. Listen, that right there, snitches get stitches. As soon as I see Rico Suave, snitches get stitches. Boy, you are a traitor to your end. I see you don't love the Thunderbird team. I see how you are.
All right. Well, if you had, if you were on Team Tom, go ahead and give us a call back at the studio line, and you won $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. And if your team's Strick, I'm sorry, it was just a close call. We didn't know really what to do there. A very controversial game of Shootout with Strick. But here's what you've earned here, Tom, too, as well. You got to know this.
Boom shakalaka! Hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
That's what happens when you win. You get the.
I get that.
And Strick still disagrees with you, which is fair. I really didn't even know. I'm supposed to be like strong in my, just really. And I didn't know what to do there. Gaga, Lady Gaga. I mean, that's correct. But is it correct? It's for the win. He had 1 point going in. It's just very confusing.
I took down the best athlete in all sports athlete in Nebraska history.
Yeah, you did.
And took him down.
I don't know. There might have been some other ones that were way better than me. I just think I was up there in the category. I'm just glad to be in the conversation.
Have we done that ranking on this show?
Probably not.
The best.
That'd be kind of weird to do with Strick.
Best.
There's a few of them.
I mean, who's better than Strick? I mean, who's even in that conversation, Strick?
You got to probably look at Gale Sayers, maybe. What
he was?
Gosh, sorry. There was what's his name? He was a pitcher that I think he might even went to West. My mind's drawing a blank. There's a few of them out there. There's a few of them.
Turner Hill. I mean, Darren Erstad.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, neither one of those guys.
Darren was a tremendous, better baseball player than I was.
And he was a great hockey player. He was a really good
maybe he could get in the.
He'd have you beat in hockey.
Yeah.
He would definitely beat me in hockey because I'd be out there like Cedric the Entertainer, skating real slow, just looking for who I'm about to hit next. I wouldn't be trying to score nothing. I'm just looking for who's gonna take this elbow to the chest. That's what I'd be doing.
That is a good question. I can't really think of anybody
There's
too
a few
recently.
of them out there. There's a few.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are a few volleyball players that play basketball, I believe.
Yeah.
Strick's got to be in that.
He's got to be right up there.
He's easily top.
We've
5.
talked several times about how he'd be the perfect for the NIL package.
Oh Lord, don't.
He would have just had all different programs bidding for him.
What would you plug? I mean, what product right now, if NIL were just happening today? I mean,
I could have plugged.
I can see you all.
Tom, I was for the university. I was an ambassador, so you could have plugged me with banks. You could have plugged me with car dealerships. You could have plugged me with sports teams. You could have plugged me with clothing lines. You could have plugged me with talk shows. You could have plugged me with news. Yeah, UIL calling. I'm coming back. Remember how Dion dressed up back in the day when he had the well, I can't remember who he was, but he dressed up. Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm just gonna come back as a different name. I'm gonna come back as Slicky Stricky.
Yeah, you gotta dye that. You gotta dye your beard. You need
I'm gonna dye the beard. I'm gonna cut the beard off. I'm gonna cut the beard off. And I'm gonna put a little mini fro on. I'm gonna be ready.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit of peach fuzz. It looks like you're in college. Like I can't wait till I can grow it out someday.
I mean, you would have made by today's dollars easily $1 million, right?
I think in the long run. I could have got it there.
A 3-sport athlete. Of course, you were baseball already.
I mean, what do they call it? Like what do they have? Like Dick's? What is the real good ones there? Dick's Sporting Goods and
Shields.
Shields. Stuff like that. Yeah, it could have been real good for them.
By the way, off the text line, a lot of help from Augie, Clayt, others. Bob Gibson, probably the name.
There it was, Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson was a tremendous athlete, like multiple sports. Yeah, he was.
Jory Throne and Alex Gordon was a 3-sport athlete.
I don't know if he's up there with Stricky.
I don't know if he would have been able to play at the next level of of football and basketball. I don't know.
Keith Newbert, basketball player that played football and played a little bit in the NFL.
Yeah. There's some names in there. Yeah. You can throw them out there.
Yeah. I want to know on the Sutter Heyman text line if I would have stayed with football. 402-464-5685. If I, knowing what you know now, multiple sports and the way I played, if you got a chance to watch me ever play, what position do you think I would have been best at in football?
Wide receiver.
That's what you say.
Yeah, what do you think? You were a defensive back?
I don't think I would have been a good receiver. I think personally. Well, no, I'm gonna be quiet. We'll talk about it on the next segment. How about that?
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We got Mike Milby over there too, so maybe we'll bring in the whole Sunday Rewind crew here in a second.
Love it.
We'll be
back on the block. Steve.
On the block, Sunday Rewind. It's a mix. We're coming back on 93.7 The Ticket right after the break.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, this is Dave Osted from Osted's Golf. Let us make this your best season yet. Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in Osted's Value Guide, or have our club specialists get your clubs swinging like new. Go to our website, make your fitting appointment. You're a click away from a better golf game. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Gus Cottle. Millard South Baseball will face the winner of Lincoln East versus Millard West for the Class A State Championship. The championship game will take place on Thursday, May 19th at Tal Anderson Field. Gretna Boys Soccer defeated Omaha Westside in a lopsided 8-0 victory to win the Class A Boys State Soccer Championship. The win on Tuesday caps off an undefeated season for the Gretna Dragons. The Gretna girls were also able to finish their undefeated season with a win over Lincoln Southeast to win the girls' Class A State Soccer Championship. Jalen Lloyd of Omaha Central was the top qualifier in the Class A Boys 100-meter dash and the triple jump at the first day of the Nebraska State Track and Field Tournament. Malachi Coleman of Lincoln East is currently the fastest qualifier in the boys 200-meter dash with a time of 21.8 seconds. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Bill Callahan Fan Club president, Jake Bakovic.
I love Billy.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
You're on the block with Strick and Bach. And we have some wonderful guests today that is joining us. Celebrity duo that's here with us today. Man, we're just glad to have them in on the block. Is everybody there? Who we got?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got Tom Stevens and Mike Milby of Sunday Rewind in with us. And we might do this more often on Fridays. These guys have a show on Sunday. They want to promote it a little bit. What better way to do that than join the block?
Yeah, man, it's good to have them on the block today. There's a lot of topics that we're going to get off into, but we did have something as we were going out. Stricky put it out there on the line as to where do you think I would fit if I would have stayed with football on 402-464-5685. Where would it have been? On the offensive side, on the defensive side? But Mr. Stevens said something that we might have a little debate on. But, let's see what other people had to say. But I want to hear from Tom Stevens, first of all.
Well, what was your vertical?
34.
34. Okay. And you were you're 6'3", right? and about 210. So you would fit perfectly as a wide receiver. I don't know who could guard you. I could see you playing wide receiver. I could see you playing linebacker. You'd be a decent running back. Where would you put yourself?
Me personally, I thought I was ahead of my time as far as like your Jimmy Grahams, your Jeremy Shockeys, your Aaron Hernandez's. I think I would have been like that hybrid type of guy that was like not a tight end, but was like a receiver tight end. You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't have blazing speed. I ran great routes and I had great hands.
What about wing back? I mean, under T.O., you'd be a good wing back.
That's why I wouldn't have played, because Stricky wanted to catch the ball. That's why I didn't play my senior year, because Cluster Johnson, my quarterback, ended up leaving, and I was like Jordan Addison, basically like my Kenny Pickett's gone. I gotta get up out of here. I'm out. Yeah. And that's how it really happened. I saw the writing on the wall, and guess what their record was that next year? And I would have been out in the cold. They were like 0-8.
Oh
wow.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
There might be
I saw the writing.
Hold that against you to this
I
day.
might have won 2 games just because I was, maybe. You know what I mean? But no, sir. I was like, no, I'm not going out in that cold. You guys know what Nebraska winters are like in falls. Oh no, Stricky wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah, I heard you on what was that? I think you were on one of the Ticket Weeknight shows, and talking about if you had gone to football. And I don't want to lower any of your fanfare here at Nebraska, but you weren't looking to block at the next level, right?
Oh no, I don't mind blocking. No,
right.
I will put a block on you, but I wanted to hit you more. So that's why I would have probably went on the defense.
Like side. Defense, yeah. I thought you were.
I was like, huh?
I thought you were saying. I can't remember what show it was. I think it was Riffin' with Ref, where you're talking about maybe an offer from Colorado who would sling the ball around. Maybe that you wanted to go.
Oh yeah, no,
more than block in the option offense.
UCLA and Colorado and even Florida State, they were reaching out tough until that ended. But yeah, I would have went to a receiving school. I probably would have been a buff or somebody like that, because they were throwing that ball a little bit. I would have probably went out there and tried to catch something. But I love Cluster Johnson, and I love Vershawn, and I love Brendan Holbein, and I love the wonderful blocks that they had when they blocked for the running train of the Husker offense. Loved it. But wasn't Stricky's thing. I like to catch the ball.
Well, so speaking of catching the ball, then with your moves, Strick, you would have been an excellent punt returner and kick returner, I would assume.
Yeah, but I just don't think I had the speed. Like I was a upper 4.5, low 4.6 guy. I didn't really I had on-field speed, right? So it wasn't like I had just breakneck speed, but I can get by you, and I can create space, and I can do different things, but I just didn't have the speed that I felt would have been good for me. Now I felt I would have been like a Steve Atwater, Cam Chancellor type of safety, because that's really where I was good at. I was so good at safety that my coaches were like, Strick can't keep making all the tackles from way back there. We need to move him up. So they basically moved me to linebacker so that I could be closer to the line and make more tackles. That's the only reason they moved me to linebacker. But there was a battle going on, between the defensive linebacker coach at the time and Coach Brown.
Interesting. Now, you say you don't have a lot of speed, and from a returner standpoint, you need some, but you had to have more speed than Santonio Panico. I mean, he was a punt returner for a couple of years.
Mr. Fair Catch.
Yeah, I don't think he returned any punts, but
yeah, we probably had the worst special team punt team probably in the nation. It was just catch and stop. There was no running involved.
Off the text line, we do have some answers there for you, too. I think people are agreeing with you, Strick. Gene says, Strick is too badass to be a receiver. He would have had to been like a free safety or a monster back, maybe a linebacker. Gus also said Strick would be an awesome safety. We had some comments there about Jory says Alex Gordon, by the way. We're talking about the best kind of three-sport athlete or overall athlete in the state of Nebraska. Says Alex Gordon had a scholarship to play for Husker football and baseball. So, kind of updating me on that. And sorry if I missed that. I'm sorry if you're close friends with Gordo or something. I was like 14 at the time, so I don't know if I was up to date on how good of a football player he was. And Big Frank chimes in and says he misses Mike Melby calling some hockey. So there you get Mike Melby.
Thank you. I appreciate that
as well. Let's get into this. I did list, and I want to get you guys. I know you all follow college football pretty closely. I did the top 10 offseason moves in college football, so I just want to get your response to this. This obviously coming off Jordan Addison going to USC.
Free agency in college football.
Yeah,
of course
it's
we're
free
doing
agency.
This list.
Yeah, well, it's not just it's kind of a mixture of players and coaches here. So you tell me if I got it right. These guys are too high, too low, and I've grouped some of them as well. Also, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think a Nebraska move would necessarily make the top 10 nationally, so I didn't include them as well. Although O'Shawn Mathis, that's a big deal. Mark Whipple's a big deal. I think they've done a great job. It's just competing with some big moves here. Number 10, I thought would be interesting to throw this in there. Jim Knowles is the Ohio State defensive coordinator coming over from Oklahoma State. Maybe not as known, not getting as much hoopla, but that Oklahoma State defense was tough, and that Ohio State defense was not, and that's something that kind of held that team back. That was the first loss for Ryan Day in conference.
Yeah, I thought that their defense cost them, along with not being able to run the football. Ohio State, obviously they could sling it, and CJ Stroud is a really good quarterback, but I wonder about their willingness under Ryan Day to run the football and stop the run. That's a reason, I guess, that you bring in a brand new defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. And you guys could just kind of take turns responding to these.
I personally thought, and I'll let you guys chime in, I thought a sneaky move was a Pac-12 horizontal move that Travis Dye made out of Oregon down to USC, that the snake was able to get him down there. I mean, this kid ran 211 times a year ago, so he's not just a one-trick pony, and he averaged 6 yards a carry, 1,271 yards, 16 touchdowns on the ground. But then you add another 402 with 46 catches. That's a weapon that they were able to kind of sneak away and get away from Oregon. I thought that was a sneaky move.
Yeah, that's one that doesn't probably get as much attention just because of the Caleb Williams and the Jordan Addison. But, him, Mario Williams, I mean, they got several guys USC did on the offensive side of the ball, which is obviously the Lincoln Riley's specialty. So we'll see. I don't think there's going to be too much defense out there in Trojan land still, but the offense is going to be stacked. Number 9, I grouped these guys together. They're kind of unproven quarterbacks at this point in time, but 5 stars out there on the transfer list. How about Quinn Ewers to Texas and Jackson Dart to Ole Miss, who probably doesn't get talked about a whole lot?
I would completely agree. And Quinn Ewers to Texas is funny because all he did literally was the senior year of high school to go get $1 million.
Yeah.
Party in Columbus because he knew he was going to Texas,
and then get another $1 million to come back to Texas.
Another $1 million. I mean, if he never throws a touchdown pass or anything in college football, he's going to be one hell of a businessman because he knows what he's doing on that side.
Yeah. This is why that right there is why I think the NCAA or Congress or whoever needs to get involved on the front end for what just happened right there. And also when you look at what happened with Rattler when he got to Oklahoma, he lands some huge NIL early deals, and he's not even the starting quarterback. And I think there needs to be some type of, look, any way you call it, it's the decision that they made. It may have been a dumb business decision, so I can't be faulting of the kids that are going to get their money. But I think there should be something in there to kind of mitigate those things like that, to be able to just bounce around and hit three licks, and then all of a sudden, you're good to go where you want to be. I don't like that.
Yeah, and so that's kind of weird. Those are unproven guys, but I think that's interesting. Number 8, I grouped these coaches together too, which is not necessarily fair, but their first time, big time head coaches. Billy Napier's been coaching quite some time at Louisiana, but of course they got some of the bigger names ahead of them on this list. But Billy Napier at Florida gets overlooked quite a bit, I feel like, and he had an excellent job at Louisiana. Maybe not the name. I always do this with USC or Texas. When they, you're scared when USC grabs Lincoln Riley. You're not scared when they promote Clay Helton. So Florida, they've done a good job of going out and getting a Billy Napier, but it doesn't scare you too much. But years down the line, we could look at that as one of the best hires this offseason.
Yeah, Florida, I mean, obviously, that's one of the better jobs. That's one of those jobs that you think if they get the right guy, if they have another Urban Meyer, they're going to win championships again. I think Billy Napier is one of the best under the radar guys, one of the best hires in college football. We'll see. That should be one of those jobs that you get the right guy and you're instantly in the national championship picture.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I mean, similar to Texas or USC, they've just disappeared since Urban Meyer left town. Florida has just been almost irrelevant.
Awful. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So does Napier, do you think, become more, maybe not Urban Meyer won 2 national titles, but is he more an Urban Meyer success story or more a Ron Zook first time on the really big stage and it didn't turn out well?
Yeah. I'd probably say he's probably will end up like Muschamp and Mullen. And there was one other one where they had there for a second where they win the SEC East one year and then go 5-7 the next year and then they're out. That's usually what happens at Florida recently with these guys. So we'll kind of wait and see there. Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, another name that probably shouldn't be overlooked. And I didn't even include on this list, so I overlooked it myself. But I think that'll be an interesting
one.
Well,
he's a likable guy. He's got personality, and he seems to be a player's coach. We'll see. I'm rooting for him. Rooting for him because Brian Kelly, I was never a big fan, but he did a hell of a job at Notre Dame. And I wonder how good he'll be at LSU. But Freeman, on the surface, it feels like a good hire. But I don't know. I don't know because Notre Dame's had, in between the Kelly hire, there's been a lot of really bad hires.
Remember the Tyrone Willingham year? That was awesome when we thought he was going to. Then Charlie Weiss looked like he was going to be good, and then he wasn't. No. So they had a few of those guys. Number 7 on my list, even though he's been complaining a little bit about modern-day college football, Nick Saban actually did pretty good in the portal. Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from Georgia Tech, and Jermaine Burton, the wide receiver from Georgia, as well as Eli Ricks, the 5-star defensive back from LSU. Alabama's reloading, and of course, this coming off of the Jamison Williams success there. I'm going to figure out some of these Alabama guys. When I make a list, you kind of think who's going to play into the national championship picture. It's easy to choose some transfers to Alabama in that.
Yeah, they don't take a ton of transfers. They only, I think, had like 4 or 5. But the ones they take, like Anderson, was a Will Anderson, the great linebacker. And Jamison Williams, I thought at the end of the year was the best until he got injured.
Yeah,
I mean, he was the best in college football.
I think they would have won if he didn't get injured.
I do too.
I think they still needed Mitchie too. I think losing Mitchie and him, it just because of Jai Hall and those guys were just dropping balls left and right. And I think if you have those, you're able to spread that thing around because they were looking really good in the first half, just with Williams alone.
Let's go to number 6 on my list. Mario Cristobal moving over from Oregon to Miami.
That was the one I was going to say, Bob. Go ahead.
That's a big one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you go ahead. I think that deserves to be pretty high. He's a proven coach now there at Oregon and kind of bringing back, Miami. We've seen through this NIL thing. They're a big place in it. I don't think it'll take too long for him to get them turned around. Maybe not as quick as USC with what they've done this offseason. But Miami, I think, got the right guy now.
Now, he's Miami guy. He played at Miami, right?
Right.
I mean, that's the only reason you would leave Oregon for Miami.
Which he already had established and ready to roll.
I think in some ways it's kind of like Scott Frost coming to Nebraska. Yeah, you almost have to go.
Yeah.
when they call you home, you have to go because it's not as good of a job as Oregon.
No,
it really isn't.
No. And the ACC is just conference right now. It's
what'd you just say, Strick? What kind of conference?
It's a conference right now. It's just like that, man. But I think it's impressive that he was able to keep Tyler Van Dyke. I'm sure that there was a lot of Jordan Addison calls coming in to Tyler Van Dyke. Hey, man. So it's good that there's some NIL enhancements that were available to him. He lands a top 15 recruiting class. So things are starting to look up there. And the ACC is so that they got an opportunity to be able to, do some things in the ACC again to make it relevant.
And I wonder about that because the Big Ten wants to kind of have a handshake agreement basically with the ACC. And I'm not sure that does anything for you right now.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not getting Notre Dame, and you're Clemson, sure, but who else really now?
I still think that the Big Ten should throw Notre Dame in a pod. Just throw them in there and just let them just go at it. You're not in a conference. You're just in a pod. And then now you're involved. Let's go.
And it might be
spoiled. I think they're spoiled. They should never be in a CFP again after they be getting drubbed the way they get drubbed when they get.
Well, I think the ACC's got a better chance at him to get him in a pod, which is sad because they were linked to the Big Ten for so many years and would have just been great. They played a lot of Big Ten teams out in non-conference, but they've been playing basketball and some of these other sports in the ACC. So I think that they've got a better shot at Notre Dame, unfortunately.
And what conference? What conference again?
I don't know if I can make that exact noise. You're good at repeating that one. How about number 5 on my list? Brent Venables at Oklahoma, probably not getting as much respect, I think, as he deserves, being one of the best defensive minds in college football over the last several years. And longtime defensive coordinator for Clemson. He was at Oklahoma before. I think that program is not going to take too much of a step back. Certainly different than what Lincoln Riley brought offensively. But defensively, Brent Venables could get them going pretty quickly with the athletes he has down there.
He better because in a couple of years, Stevens, where is he going? He ain't going to he's going to the SEC, the muscle conference now. Better do something.
I still can't get over the fact that Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma. I mean, that never happens in college football. That you leave a school like Oklahoma. I understand USC is always that sleeping giant that everybody wants, that everybody believes, kind of similar to Texas, that just with the right guy, they're going to revive, or maybe Florida as well. I mean, Venables has never been a head guy. They paid him a ton of money to be the defensive coordinator under Dabo Swinney at Clemson for years. But I think he could be the guy because their defenses have been the big question.
Yes.
The Oklahoma defenses have just been awful.
Yeah.
And maybe if they can solve that problem, they can be a contender. I mean, because they're going to make a 14 playoff. They're just, if it's not Alabama and Georgia and Clemson, then you go to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Probably.
You want my take, Mike and Steven?
Sure. Absolutely.
Tom, I got a different perspective on it. I really think Lincoln Riley, okay, yes, the glitz, the glamour, LA, all of that, yes, USC, boom. Pac-10 has been garbage. They haven't been able to put anybody in with a sniff of the CFP over the last 3 years that's relevant, right? Oregon has fallen off the or their Oregon's fallen off. UCLA is garbage. Arizona, for whatever. That's just a show up game. Only relevant team out there in the Pac-12 right now is Utah. So here's the crazy thing about that. He looks at, dang, I'm about to go out here and have to deal with Nick Saban. I got to deal with Jimbo Fisher. He's got a number 1 recruiting class. I can't win that battle. Let me go down here to Glitz and Glory Land where I got a chance to shine and then get back into that game because I don't see any way out if I go to the SEC out of Oklahoma. That's just the way I see it. And for me, great choice if that's how you want to play it. But I don't think he wanted to fight. I don't think he wanted to fight that battle that you got to have to fight.
Strick, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you. That's what I thought the second I heard the rumors before it finally broke a couple hours later. I was like, he's scared to death of the SEC.
Facts.
That's his problem.
Facts.
Yeah. It's that simple. And speaking of Brent Venables really quick, I don't think he's going to be successful down there. I don't think a defensive team is going to work in the Big 12. They're going to score 40 points a game. I don't think Oklahoma's going to score 40 points a game with Brent Venables as the head coach. I mean, maybe they will. Don't know. But he doesn't have.
But he's in the SEC now. I mean, he's going to be.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah. True.
And after a few years,
Yeah,
it's very strange.
I don't think Venables.
It's worked for Georgia, but I just don't think Oklahoma has that type of, get in the mix that they can get that type of guy. Now, if they got that NIL, that Jimbo Fisher money, then maybe they can do something. I just don't see it.
Yeah, we'll see. And it'll be fun, obviously, with that game. Brent Venables will bring his team to Lincoln. Let's go with number 4 on my list. You mentioned Travis Stein, Marty Williams, some of those other weapons, but how about the Biletnikoff Award winner heading down to USC, Jordan Addison? It's rumored he's got a nice bag of change waiting there for him, too. We've been waiting for months to see if he would, it feels like months. I don't know if it's been that long, but it feels like that since the rumors started about USC. Flirted with Texas, kind of, played catch with Bryce Young, but it maybe felt like all along USC was the inning spot for Jordan Addison.
I'm gonna let the guests take this one because I've already said what I had to say about that one. But go ahead.
Yeah, Jordan Addison at USC. What do you guys? You think that will work out?
I do. You're going with one of the best quarterbacks, the guy that's probably going to win the Heisman this year, with Williams, and courtesy of Rico just alerted us. Huskers up 1-0 NCAA tournament down in Stillwater.
Nice.
Love it. I got another take on that, y'all. Now, I've dropped some good takes on this one, but I've got another take on it. He didn't really, listen, he plays in the Big East, right? Or is it the ACC? ACC now. They moved over. So he plays in the ACC. Garbage league. You're the Biletnikoff guy. Yes, good. Okay, solid. Kenny Pickett gone. Understandable. Go with just what Mike said. Bounce over there. But Pac-10 is garbage for D. Tell me when there's first round draft picks out of I'll wait. Anybody just tell me over the last 2 to 3 years where the numbers have been coming out of. They've been coming out of the SEC for corners and DBs. They've been coming out of the Big Ten. But tell me when the Pac-10 or Pac-12 has been putting those type of guys in the first round.
Oh, no, he'll definitely put up numbers out there.
Well, that's why you go out there if you're him. I wouldn't go to the SEC. I wouldn't go. I'm going out to the Pac-12 and run the numbers up with a good quarterback.
You're going out there because you're paid $1 million to go out there. Pitt wasn't paying him anything. They have nothing set up from what I've heard for name, image, and likeness. And there's a lot of schools like that.
We think.
I know he was going somewhere, though, Tom. I know he was going to go somewhere. I just knew. I'm saying on another level, you go out there for that. Yes, the bag is good, but I'm saying you could have went. He could have went anywhere and got that deal. So there's a lot of people would have gave him that money. So there's a lot of people. He could have went to Auburn. He could have went to Florida. He could have went anywhere and probably got that money. But
he gets Lincoln Riley. He gets Caleb Williams.
There you go,
quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets $1 million, and he's going to play 1 year, and he's on his way to the NFL. And the girls are really pretty cute. At,
Baskin Robbins out there, baby. I used to be. Let me be quiet. It's a family show. Baskin Robbins.
and at Pittsburgh, his NIL deal would have been with like Joe's Tool Works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, and again, I think that might have played into Mark Whipple's decision to leave Pittsburgh. Maybe there's a little more money.
There were whispers that, hey, Mark Whipple's at Nebraska, Jordan Addison.
Those were really quiet whispers, though. I was hoping for them to get a little louder so we could start to run with it.
I was whispering as loud as I could. Okay?
Yeah, I would have loved it, and it would have been fun content, but it never really got to serious enough to talk about it.
But you got to look at it, like you said, Tom. You've got to look at it. Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley. He put number one drafted quarterbacks into the league. You're getting the rock. So Casey Thompson, great quarterback. Love him. I'm wishing him the best, but he's not established yet. You know what you got out there. So I said there's no way he's coming here when he knows he's got establishment out there.
Yeah. Just what they would have to contend with. Number 3 on my list is Brian Kelly to LSU. He immediately had a little Southern draw once he went to LSU, which was kind of weird. But he's fitting in nice there. And again, I know some people don't necessarily have the most respect for Brian Kelly. Maybe it's similar to the Oklahoma thing where once he gets to the playoffs, they don't win. I think that's why he went to LSU. LSU has won with 3 different coaches, national championships over the last 20 years. He's Notre Dame's all-time winningest coach. I think LSU is going to be back pretty quickly under Brian Kelly.
That's kind of how I grade schools as well, a little bit. Like if you can have, you can have 3 different guys go there and win national titles. It says something about it. I mean, Ed Orgeron's not a great coach, but you can get guys to go to LSU at any point. That's why I think Brian Kelly will be a success. I thought he was a really good coach at Notre Dame, and now he's got all the recruits that he could possibly ever want in the SEC, and now you've got name, image, and likeness. I think he'll be really, really successsul there. But you're right, the Southern draw thing
was weird.
It was very weird, and the way he left Notre Dame, it seems he is like a 3-minute meeting that he didn't even show up to.
Yeah, didn't he text everybody?
He basically texted everybody, said I'm gone, and I don't have a lot of respect for the way he left. Left Notre Dame.
It was like the scene in Bull Durham where Bull Durham, leaves an apple, or Bull Durham, Coster leaves an apple and a note for Susan Sarandon. She wakes up and it's like, Notre Dame fans woke up and they're like, "Why is there an apple here? Wait, what's this say?" Oh, crap.
Yeah.
And thank God
is
for him.
violations going to hurt them for any problems? I mean, are they going to be okay, get through any violations that may be awaiting them? Yeah. Isn't there?
I haven't seen anything.
Weren't they talking about some possible problems with violations? No, I could be wrong. I thought maybe I heard.
I think with Orgeron there was some rumors about that. I don't know if that'll stick with Orgeron or if that's going to stick with LSU. That's a good point. I haven't really thought about that in a while. Number 2 on my list, and I'll go ahead and spoil number 1. You know what that one is. How about the duo of Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley? We've been talking about Lincoln Riley all off season, but Caleb Williams, we just kind of throw him out there. Yeah, that's the best one out there. But for you, Tom, I know he was your Heisman favorite. Had he played like 3 or 4 more games?
Yeah, he was I thought he should have. Was he invited? He wasn't invited to New York, but I thought that there was a good chance, and then he kind of tailed off at the end of the year. But yeah, I think him with Lincoln Riley at USC, and then you add Jordan Addison, and they've done really well in the transfer portal. I think he's the best quarterback in college football. Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, they're kind of similar type athletes. But I think he'll have a huge impact at USC.
Yeah, I mean, part of this is just there's a lot of USC at the top, and that's.
I need to throw this out there real quick, Bach. Who in the room thinks that Spencer Rattler has got a return on his ROI on that NIL money?
You mean by going from Oklahoma?
He's going, leaving Oklahoma, going to South Carolina now. Do you think he's going to have a good return on the investment that was made? Do you think he's going to do well, or do you think he's going to be a flopper?
Well, I didn't put him on my list. That shows you what I kind of think is that I think that he was overhyped going into last year. We kind of saw it play out, and now they're still. I mean, he had a great freshman season, and so that didn't disappear. But they have to find a way to find that once again. I don't know if I trust South Carolina be the end spot to do that. I think there's a lot of hype around his name still from the preseason of last year, and it wasn't necessarily earned this past year. So I kept him off my top 10 list.
I don't think
he's
that good.
Yeah.
I wonder if you replay that game with Caleb Williams instead of Spencer Rattler, if Oklahoma doesn't win by 3-4 touchdowns against Nebraska. Yeah.
I don't know. Nebraska's defense was playing pretty well that game, the offensive game plan. But you're right. Caleb Williams is. I mean, you're talking about one of the best in the game. Yeah. So that would make quite a difference. And it is weird. Nebraska plays Oklahoma in back-to-back years and misses Caleb Williams altogether. Just kind of strange how that played out. Yeah. Let's take a quick break here on the block. We've got the guys from Sunday Rewind joining us. Maybe we'll hit the hardwood coming up next. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. Celtics get their win, obviously, last night in a big way. Can Luka do the same tonight for the Mavs? Also, we'll update you on the Husker softball team, how they're doing. That's coming up next here on the block on 93.7 The Ticket.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Southeast Community College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SEC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Adventure Golf Center is open for business with 2 mini golf courses and a 3rd course on its way within the month. Enjoy the current courses as well as the batting cages and a shaved ice food truck, and prepare for a new putting course completely uncommon in Nebraska and the Midwest with 18 holes of par 3s, 4s, and 5s, and a bar on the course. Oh yeah, Adventure Golf Center now sells alcohol too. Play the courses now and prepare to experience the new course within the month at Adventure Golf Center, 56th and Old Chain.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We are on the block. We're sponsored by the Mercado, and we've got the guys from Sunday Rewind in the studio with us here, Tom Stevens and Mike Melby. We sometimes have a disaster when we try to get everybody on the Sartor Heyman video stream. So sorry, Melby, we don't have your face up here. But
hey, there's a reason I've been in radio for 30 years and not television, and this is why.
Yeah, so
cameras and I don't get along.
That'll work. That'll work for now. We got Stevens up there. Just update you on the softball score right now. Top of the second, 2-0. The Huskers already have a lead on the Moon Green. So
let's go, baby. Let's get a win.
Yeah, of course. Softball out there in regionals.
They're the only ones doing something, Boxster. I mean, look, hey, no, volleyball took us to the brink.
Women's basketball did pretty well.
Women's basketball got in, did their thing. Softball. So it was a fall, winter, and women's. It was a women's sweep. Yeah. It was a women's sweep this year. They doing their thing. I mean, they kept me interested and engaged because I've been looking at the men like with rolly eyes.
We talked about this on our show that Trev Alberts gets like a $200,000 bonus if Nebraska finishes in the top 30 of sports. I mean, the all sports,
altogether, yeah,
the Directors Cup or whatever that thing is, and. I was thinking, what coach should he give it to? I mean, if he gets it, I mean, he should share it for sure with Ron Revelle, who's had a great revival.
Yeah.
With Amy Williams. But it's mostly women's sports. It's John Cook and Husker women's volleyball.
What's the track team's doing?
The track team always does well.
They do good always.
And then you've got men's gymnastics and you've got men's wrestling.
I say wrestling was 5th in the NCAA. This year.
And I don't know if they count. Do they count bowling in those? I don't know.
I hope they do. They can't just take away our gem.
We have 5 national titles in the NCAA and 5 more national titles in the whatever women's Congress thing.
I would assume you get
sanctioned.
Yeah,
they better.
I would assume you get points for it, but I don't know that there are a lot of Big Ten teams or Big Ten schools that have bowling.
Yeah.
So
that is kind of weird how that all plays into it, because every school has their different sports that they participate in, but who really knows? Before we get to some NBA basketball, let's get to some questions off the text line here. Dave Braska says, please ask Strick about the Husker football practices he participated in. Of course, we've talked about that plenty of times. Maybe these guys would like to hear it. How many practices was it, Strick?
Like 2.
Yeah.
like listen, but the unique, I'm not going to sit here and act it. Let me just say it like this. I was able to scratch the itch I had on my back. You remember those old school things, Tom, that had the little fingers on it that we used to get. Like that. Yeah, the little back scratcher, right? I was able to scratch that itch. But I went out there, and I'm not going to act like, it was all fine and dandy. I enjoyed it, but I knew that this wasn't for Stricky. There was a different type of aches. No, so here's that question, right? Again, there was kind of a fight. It was 2 practices. I didn't have a playbook. I wasn't able to be in the pre-meetings and all of that stuff. They gave me a locker. Actually, it was a good location. It wasn't like in the back corner somewhere. They gave me a good locker, uniform, had, number. I can't remember what number they gave me. And I literally went out with Tommy in the first team. No, it wasn't Tommy. It was, who was it? Frost? Who was right after Tommy? Frost, right?
Yep.
It was Frost. So it was Frost and, that whole going into 97 team. And I was literally in the huddle, and Coach Brown and whoever, they were like, okay, line up in the slot or line up at the wing back and go in motion and run a drag or run a corner or run a post or run a 10 and in. They literally were just telling me what to do. And I bet you that the Husker, those practice, they threw more in that practice than they ever probably threw in a game.
Test you out.
Yeah, they test, and it was funny because Jay Foreman and all those guys, man, they were looking at me like, yeah, come on over here. It was like it's like them hungry hippos, like them alligators that be sitting there waiting for you to step into the lake. Yeah, that's how they were doing Stricky. They were watching. They were trying to wait till they get their lens on me. Yeah.
And Danny Nee, you said didn't like the whole idea.
Yeah, well, he's Danny's New York guy. He's got the verbiage, he's got the talk. He said, well, the NBA guys are calling. They're saying you might want to get off that football field if you want to play in the NBA. So that was all I had needed to hear, and I was like, okay, all right, peace. And then I think Coach Brown and them were calling me like, Strick, where you at? Where you at? I didn't answer the phone. I was like, didn't even want to.
Jory asked this, or he says this. He says, this is why getting rid of Frost would be extremely stupid. Winningest coach in Notre Dame history left for LSU. Riley leaves for Oklahoma for USC. We would make Nebraska a stepping stone job. You guys have any thoughts on that?
I'll let the guests make a guest appearance on that.
Well, this is obviously a big year. I mean, we all understand that this is year 5. I mean, he's got to win 6 games. I mean, it's all about winning, and I think that Trev, when Trev took away the money, and also reduced the buyout, both Hoiberg and Frost had that almost exact same scenario. He's saying, you got to win.
Put him on notice.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you fire 4 coaches on the offensive side of the ball. He knows what the deal is. I mean, if he doesn't win, he's gone. But the bar isn't that high for football. I mean, you look at the schedule, you should be able to win 6 games. And if he does, he keeps his gig for another year. Let's be honest. There's most athletic directors would not have kept a 3-9 coach.
Right. Well, and I want to jump on the stepping stone job comment, though. I don't see Nebraska ever being a stepping stone job. The reason is I don't think we ever hire an up and comer. I just don't, because the pressure, and I mean, Frost was an up and comer, but he didn't have the experience and the knowledge of being a head coach for more than 2 years. And that's not what works here. It's not what works in the Big Ten. It is the biggest boy football there is. Argue about it with me with the SEC, but I'll compare the offensive and defensive lines of the 2 conferences, and I'll take the Big Tens. Yeah. But it's big boy football, and so we're never going to hire an up and coming guy again. I don't believe, and anybody that comes here and wins, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. Granted, they could. You would have never thought Lincoln Riley goes Oklahoma to USC. I get it,
right?
But I just don't ever see this being a stepping stone job for anybody.
Well, I also would say that doesn't make, just because it happened doesn't make LSU or Oklahoma or Notre Dame stepping stone jobs either. And it is possible. I mean, that was the hope with Frost, is that, you know, he wouldn't use it as a stepping stone because he has ties here. There is a possibility if Bo Pelini succeeded enough and Ohio State came open, he'd go back to his alumni. Right. You know, sure. So I mean, it can happen, but don't let fear of too much success limit you from hiring somebody. You know, I don't think it's the worst position in the world if Nebraska does so well that a coach, you know, goes to the NFL or goes to USC or whatever.
Eminem, I'll add on to what you just said.
Okay.
I would have to agree for football, because I actually talked about this in let me just say, we didn't go specific in it, but I talked about it, how you can go to a certain programs, and if you build them right, why would you ever leave? Because they will love you for 20 years, and you can have the security you need, because you don't get that at the next level. You don't get that in this level that you get like an NFL and NBA. I will say that's the way what you just said for football. I don't think it's a stepping stone job for football, but I will say it's possibly one for basketball.
And I'm okay with that, being as big of a basketball fan as I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Go win a damn game in the tournament. Come on.
Yeah.
In this league, I don't care who you are.
Get us one win.
Yeah, just one. Just one. I've always felt Nebraska, I mean, Tom Osborne never had a coaching tree. I mean, why? Because his coaches were so loyal.
Yeah.
They all stayed at Nebraska, and it probably would have been better had, you know, the Turner Gills of the world, you know, more of those guys gone out, built their own programs, then come back to Nebraska. But none of them did. And so you had to promise Frank Solich 3 years before he retired that Frank was going to be the dude. But there aren't a lot of guys outside of Frost that you could point to in college football and say, well, he'll come home. He'll come home and lead this program because outside of Frost, who is there?
Zach Taylor, but he's had too much success.
Zach Taylor, yeah.
Well, and Tom made a great point, and I don't know if it was on the show or when we were arguing about something. I don't know, but
off air with a few drinks.
Yeah, it could have been. But he made the point about John Cook. He was talking about how T.O. didn't have much of a coaching tree because of the loyalty, and he said, "Look at John Cook. You know, you were like."
He's put so many coaches in college volleyball.
You've got Danny Busboom, Tyler Hildebrand, who both were essentially going to be his replacements. Yeah. One of them still may be. There's 4 of his former assistants that are now head coaches at teams that are ranked in the top 15.
Yeah, succeeding, not just taking jobs.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like there is a coaching tree there where Nebraska volleyball is going to be fine for a while. So.
And Tom did have a few, like Monte Kiffin left early.
Monte Kiffin
Missouri
was out there, but he was never going to be a head coach. He was a defensive guru.
There was the Missouri guy in the 70s that took
Warren Powers.
Yeah, Warren Powers. There's a few guys early on, but the late part of Tom Osborne's tenure, nobody really left.
Nobody left hardly at all. And because he was so loyal to them, and every time he would get a raise or a bonus, he would spread it to the rest of the staff. And I mean, he was a great guy to work for.
Yeah.
But in some ways, because he didn't do it like John Cook has, he didn't have anybody that, you know, outside of Solich that he could really say, this guy this guy. You got to bring back this guy.
Well, unfortunately, we are running up against the break, so we'll do one more segment with the guys again. It's a little bit of what do they call those? Like middle schools when you have those crossover dances. I can't remember what they call them. We're mixing it up.
Sadie Hawkins
dance.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Sadie Hawkins dance here with Sunday Rewind and On the Block. We'll wrap things up here on a Friday. Coming up next year on 93.7. The Ticket will also update you on how the softball team's doing. That's coming up next year.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I could actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, this is Dave Osted from Osted's Golf. Let us make this your best season yet. Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in Osted's Value Guide, or have our club specialists get your clubs swinging like new. Go to our website and make your fitting appointment. You're a click away from a better golf game. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Hey, it's Nelson inviting you to stop by the newest Caterpillar Vape Shop here in Lincoln at 2601 North 11th Street. Get to know the team that will find you exactly what you're looking for. Premium e-juice, CBD, Delta 8, mods, kits, and more. They can answer any question you have and find the right fit for you. In a hurry, hit the drive-thru for convenient service. Amazing rewards for existing customers, and as always, new Caterpillar Vapes customers get 50% off their entire purchase. Now is the time. Stop in. Caterpillar Vapes, 2601 North 11th Street. Follow on Facebook or online at CaterpillarVapes.com.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Adventure Golf Center is open for business with 2 mini golf courses and a third course on its way within the month. Enjoy the current courses as well as the batting cages and a shaved ice food truck, and prepare for a new putting course completely uncommon in Nebraska and the Midwest with 18 holes of par 3s, 4s, and 5s, and a bar on the course. Oh yeah, Adventure Golf Center now sells alcohol too. Play the courses now and prepare to experience the new course within the month at Adventure Golf Center, 56th and Old Chain.
As we approach Memorial Day, Koppel Insurance Agency takes this time to salute our soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, veterans, and those who have given their lives. These amazing men and women put their lives on the line for our freedoms. Let's make sure they know how much we appreciate them. This message has been brought to you by Koppel Insurance Agency. If you're looking for insurance, call 402-475-3213. They are honest and fair. For a solid insurance program, Koppel Insurance Agency. They're honoring our heroes Memorial Day and every day.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Congratulations to everybody. You've made it. You've made it to the weekend. We are all wrapping things up here on the block. Again, Mike Melby, Tom Stevens joining us from the Sunday Rewind. Eric Strickland and myself, Jake Balkovin, here as usual. As we wrap things up, I kept saying, talking about the NBA, so we better get to it real quick. Game 2 tonight. We talked a little bit about the Celtics a little bit earlier, so we can kind of move through that here in a second. But, Strick, I want to start with you. Do you think that Luka can tie this thing up, or do you think the Mavs are almost more comfortable going back home down 0-2?
Well, again, you're talking about two different philosophies. You're talking about a philosophy with depth that likes to play with a little faster pace. You're talking about a team with ISO and good ball movement, but needs help. If it's going to be Luka dominant, if he dominates and he's the only one that dominates, I think that doesn't bode well for a Mavericks team. Getting Marcus Smart back was for Boston was huge because it was able to just give a spark to the defense that they were playing some next level D last night, and it was good to see. But yeah, that's what I see for that game. He needs help. Luka's going to need help in order to bounce back tonight.
Let me ask you about Marcus Smart, because I agree. I think he's the glue for Boston. He reminds me in size and the way he plays a little bit of you.
Yeah, that is exactly right. He plays exactly the same way. He does a lot of the same stuff just in this generation that I did in the older generation. The only difference between now and then is that it's not as physical. So I had to bang with guys that were tremendously more big and strong. Yes, he probably had to deal a little bit with Giannis, but I had to deal with many more than Giannis's.
Tim Duncan. Your stories with Yao and
yeah, I had to deal with a little bit bigger guys. That's the only difference.
Who do you think is the best team in the NBA playoffs, or is the best team going to win it in your mind?
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see another contrast, but I still think Golden State does. They play great swarming D. I think Boston plays great individual and collective with help and rotation type D. So I think you're going to probably see Golden State and Boston face off, and it's going to be who can take care of the biggest matchups and which depth is going to be more provided and who's going to come alive in those games. That's going to help. Right now, you've got your Pritchards and you've got your Williams, and then, you've got all these different type of players that are making big plays for Boston. If they can continue that, then Boston's going to be very tough.
And as we wrap things up too here, last score I had, I didn't look it up just over the break, but 2-0 Husker Softball was leading over North Texas. So you can follow the at 93.7 the ticket account because we've got a guy out there. Nate Britton is actually out in Stillwater and he's updating that. So if you want your updates, go there. Thanks once again to Mike Melby and Tom Stevens of Sunday Rewind. Maybe we can get you guys come through every once in a while on a Friday. And I kind of like this round table we've had here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. And especially when if Strick's going to be kind of back, maybe in the studio, we might have to, I don't know, make sure we have a lot of fun that last hour of the
show. We definitely, I don't care if you just pop your head in, you've got to tap in one day on a Thirsty Thursday. Oh my gosh, it's the best.
That's what I'm telling. We may make it a Thirsty Friday. I'm just saying.
Exactly. We can double it up. Back to back. I'm used to back to backs. We play a lot of them, so I'm good with back to backs.
I don't know. We'll have to figure out some way to call it Fun Friday or something after Thirsty Thursday. But either way, I'm cheap date buck, so I'll maybe need a ride home after each. We'll see.
We'll get you an Uber.
Yeah, I'll just Uber home and take it easy from there. Once again, it's going to be a great weekend of Husker softball. Baseball's got a chance, a slim chance. Now they've got to win tonight. They've got to win tomorrow as well, and they need Maryland to beat Purdue twice. Maryland's top 15 team in the Big Ten though, so maybe more than a one-shot league this year with Maryland probably going to get in if they don't win in Omaha either way. But looking slim there. Baseball's. It is what it is. It might be the final days. If they lose tonight, I'd still encourage you to go out and enjoy one final Husker baseball game on Saturday. The Husker softball team hopefully wins their regional. We'll be talking about that on Monday and plenty more. Marcus Washington, I think a pretty big recruit in town for Nebraska at the wide receiver position today or through this weekend. So we'll update you on that. Once again, final thanks to Tom Stevens and Mike Melby. Tune in on Sunday at 6, right? Yep. For Sunday Rewind. We'll be back with On the Block coming up next week. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.
Hey, it's Nelson inviting you to stop by the newest Caterpillar vape shop here in Lincoln at